I'm Dr. Ferguson with the Stem Cell Pro. I'm excited you chose the online version of the consultation. Well, you'll get everything that we normally do with a one-on-one consult in the clinic. You can do it right at the convenience of your own home. And so let's jump right into it. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about me. When I was 17 years old, my grandma, she passed away of liver failure. The doctors refused to put her on the transplant list because they thought she was a closet alcoholic. And she wasn't. She didn't drink alcohol, but what she did do was take a whole bunch of over-the-counter medications for pain, aches and pains. And it ended up costing her her life and cutting her life very short. My passion since then has been helping people understand there's other options. Now, first and foremost, I'm not against drugs. I'm not against surgery. But for me and my kind of personality is I want to use them as a last resort, not the first thing people do. So if you are someone that has been recommended surgery and you don't want surgery, or you're taking a bunch of drugs and you know that's probably not the best way to do it, you're a perfect candidate to learn more about stem cells. So let's jump into stem cells. What are stem cells? Stem cells is a master cell of the body. They have the ability to repair and regrow damaged tissue. And so you have lots of stem cells in your body already. The problem is when we're little, young, we have lots. When we're old, we have less and less. So the example I always give is when we're 1 year old, so brand spanking new, we have one stem cell for every 10,000 cells in our body. And when I first heard that, I thought, that's not very many. One stem cell for every 10,000 cells. But when we're 10 years old, so just 10 years later, we have one stem cell for every 100,000 cells. So that's actually 10 times less at 10 years old. At 40, we have about one in 250,000, maybe 1.5 million, depends on what literature you read. At 60, it's about 1 in a million. And at 70, 80, it just gets lower and lower. So what does this mean? When we're 3, 4 years old and you're learning how to ride a bike and you fall, let's say you hurt your hip, what happens? Well, as a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, mom or dad goes over, picks you up, kisses it on the owie, pats them on the rear end, and off they go. And they forgot that they got hurt probably within 5-10 minutes. When that same injury happens at 20 years old, you know, you're sore for maybe a day, maybe 2 days, but you bounce back super fast. When it's 40, it takes a week to heal, but you get better. At 60, it's months to get better. And at 80, you might not leave the hospital with a silly little bike injury or a fall like that. And so the only difference between that 3 or 4-year-old and the 80-year-old or the 60-year-old is the amount of stem cells that we have. How fast can they recover? So what do the stem cells do? They're attracted to inflammation and they help repair and heal that damaged tissue, no matter what it is, whether it's cartilage, tendons, ligaments, muscles, even the joints. All those things can be repaired and help heal faster with the stem cells. And so one of the things you have to realize and understand is inflammation is what stem cells are attracted to. They like inflammation. That's what helps the stem cells know where to go. And so we're told our whole lives, and I was told this when I was little, that, if you have something inflamed, you want to calm it down. And what do? Well, we go back to my grandma's story where it's trying to knock down that inflammation with ibuprofen, with Advil, with some of these anti-inflammatory over-the-counter medications for the most part. But have you ever stopped to think, why does the body create inflammation? I'll tell you right now, the body never, ever does anything that it's not supposed to do. It always does what's best. And so why would it create inflammation? So there's 3 simple things that happen when inflammation is created. The first one is pain happens. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Dr. Ferguson, pain's not good. And I would agree. No one likes pain. I don't like pain as much as any of the other people, but there is a reason. So picture touching a hot stove. If the stove if the hot stove didn't cause pain, we'd probably leave our hand on there and do more damage. So the pain is a signaling mechanism or a warning that, hey, maybe you got to pull your hand away. And if you picture the hot stove, it's almost like a reflex. You pull your hand away, and before you even feel the pain, your hand's already off. And then it's like 2 seconds later, it's hurting. That's your body's warning mechanism that helps prevent a lot of these injuries. So inflammation helps prevent injuries by causing pain that makes you take it easy, timeouts, stop doing what you're doing. Number 2 is it swells. So we've all had, well, at least I say we all, I've had lots of ankle injuries, and I picture a sprained ankle. Either you've had one or you've seen it, but the ankle can get really big after a sprained ankle, sometimes 3 times bigger than normal. And what does that swelling do? Well, it creates a natural splint or stabilizes the joint so you don't hurt it worse, right? So making it tight so you can't walk on it helps secure and not damage that joint more. The third thing is more the inflammation. The inflammation waves over those good guys, the stem cells, cytokines, growth factors, proteins, all the good guys that we need to help the healing process. Okay, so inflammation is a good thing. It helps bring out the stem cells. And so one of the things that people always want to know in these consults is, where do they come from? We've all heard that stem cells come from abortions. And I want to be very clear, very direct. I would not be involved if it was from an abortion. That was decades ago. Now we get our stem cells from the umbilical cord of C-section births. So mom's healthy, baby's healthy. They go home to live their life. And instead of throwing that umbilical cord in the garbage, they ship it to a lab and harvest all the stem cells. Now that makes a lot of sense to me. The reason it needs to be a C-section birth is they want the umbilical cord to not go through the birth canal. It's a cleaner way to get them. And so one of the things that I always like to go over in these consults is price. I know that's what most people are thinking. Well, Dr. Ferguson, what does it cost? Does insurance cover it? And so the short answer is, for the best gold standard, top of the line treatments, it is not going to be covered by stem cells. There can be a type of regenerative therapy that I would say is not quite the best, but it could be covered by Medicare. If you've got Medicare and you want to know if we could have options that would be covered, I would just schedule for a consultation. But for those that don't have Medicare, or hey, my Medicare is not going to cover it, the price will range depending on from clinic to clinic. It's anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to about $12,000 to $15,000. We are the low end, so ours is $49.50 at our clinic is what the typical price is. And that is for either an infusion, where we do the stem cells into the bloodstream for a whole body treatment, or for a specific joint. Picture a shoulder, a hip, a knee, back, or your neck. It's typically $49.50. If you do multiple joints at the same time, you get a discount. And we can go over that if you click on that link and schedule for your personal one-on-one consultation. And so ultimately, one of the other things that people always want to know is, what do I expect after a treatment? So let's assume we're not doing it today, but let's assume you got a treatment today. What would you expect? And so what I'll go over with you is, I don't expect a miracle the next day. For some people, it can happen. For the majority of the patients that do our treatments, the first 1 to 2 weeks, they'll feel like they wasted their money, that they didn't see any results, that there's really no change. And what you have to understand, that happens because this is not a treatment that masks the pain. This is helping your body heal itself, and you still need to go through that healing process. So most people, somewhere between week 2 and week 4, will start having some positive good days, but they'll still be mixed in with some bad days. So I kind of say it's like a question mark. People start thinking, hey, I got in and out of the car a little bit easier today. Am I feeling better? And they'll think, yeah, maybe I am. But then they'll think, maybe I just want to feel better. So it's that question mark. Somewhere between week 4 and about week 8 is when they'll definitely say, hey, I've noticed I'm moving in the right direction. But the best results will be anywhere between weeks 8 and about week 12 to 14. So about 3 to 4 months is what we typically expect. And so when I say $49.50 for that treatment, one of the things I'm excited to share with you in this consult is $49.50. It's a lot of money. I tell patients all the time, if you have to sell everything you own to scrape up the money, this probably isn't the best treatment for you. If you can spend that kind of money and you're not going to be worried about the grocery bill or the mortgage, it's not going to affect your lifestyle, then I would highly consider doing a stem cell treatment. The other thing that I'm very excited about with the lab that we have teamed up with is they do what's called a results guarantee. So after 3 to 4 months, if you're not feeling miracle results, which I'll tell you about 90% of the patients do, but if you happen to be one of those 10% patients that go, hey, I'm not feeling as good as I wanted, to spend a lot of money, then we'll redo the treatment for free, no additional cost. And so for me, there's really only one reason people don't get results, and that is they don't do enough stem cells or they do the wrong type of stem cells, which again, it goes back to that low or the bottom tier, mid tier, gold standard, top tier, and we want to use that gold standard. So just do the treatment again, no additional cost. The reason we do that is because we only have to do treatments, redo treatments very, very rarely. I tell patients we have about a 90% success rate, which is what we see in the clinic. But in the last 8 months, I can tell you we've only had to redo about 3 treatments. But if you happen to be one of those people, I commit and I will promise you we will do a second treatment at no additional cost. So let's wrap this up kind of where I started. One of the things I didn't say when my grandma passed away, my grandpa, he ended up remarrying. He lived to be 93 years old and had a great life. And what I think about the difference between grandpa, who got to spend the next 30 years plus with us and all the grandkids and great grandkids, and all the experiences that he had. And I think about all the things that grandma missed out on. And it was pretty silly. I wish that someone had taught her when she was younger, other alternatives to the over-the-counter medications. And so again, I'll end this by saying my passion is to help people find alternative solutions to the medications and the surgeries that are out there. If you're interested in moving forward, there's 2 things you can do. First one is click the link below, schedule a consult, or you can click the link below and sign up for your treatment. Now, if there's no button down there that says sign up for treatment, if you call or schedule a consult, let me know. The ones that do sign up for a consult, they'll get a discount. If you made it this far in the video and you are able to bring this up to me in my office, I'll give you $500 off. If there's a link below, it'll be a $500 discount if you decide to move forward. I hope that you're wanting to know more information. At least come in, sit down with me. Let's get very specific about what you're dealing with. Again, I look forward to meeting you and showing you how stem cell therapy may be the right option for you.